Shows you that only I can truly represent myself as the top martial artist. To be honest, if anyone else says that about anyone, they're lying. This is back in July. And I have a similar demonstration like a month or two after the challenge started, 2014. This is back in July.
The first one I did.
That's the game right there. I love that I said that. Because you can tell that I'm not speeding it up. I just said that quicker. It kills the idea that I'm cheating, so you know it's them. That I consider the distance from my long arms covered. That's what makes it the most impressive. Whoa, my, oh wow. Jump, 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 jump. These clips are from July, except for the one that is slower than the rest. That is the published version, and if you're on a phone, it probably appears slower than on a computer. There are certain playback issues, but they are slowing it down as well. When you look at movies, for example, these people with great technology speed up martial arts scenes, right? And Ip Man and so on. They speed up these scenes, they work the angles, okay? They know how to make things appear faster and slower. I show you that zoomed out or zoomed in, it's about the same. I put the stopwatch there. You can tell by the technology that I'm using, cameras, cell phones, YouTube's editor, that there's no way for me to do that. It's very straightforward what I'm doing. If you look at the intricacies, there's a lot of things that more than just suggest it. It proves it definitively. So they're trying to play me out as if I'm not as fast as I am. When I do the martial art combo in person, it is crisp, it is fast. I hear my gi snap, you know, it's that, you know, and then my punch goes through there. It's blurry, it's fast, it's precise, it's perfect, okay? And whenever I go to the, you know, I fully extend my strike, you know, it's in a perfect fist, it's at a perfect angle. You don't see this in a lot of the videos, especially the slowed down ones. They misrepresent me. I represent myself as the top martial artist because I am, and they're trying to misrepresent me as someone who's mentally ill. This is unacceptable. And it connects to my argument that we need to separate. You know, right now I'm in the car from the store, right? There wasn't too many people in there. Why? Because I go there at that time. And that's part of how they drug my drinks, because they know I go there early. That gives them an opportunity to kind of switch out the drinks. And sometimes I painfully go there when there's a lot of people. It's against my schedule. I'm hungry in the morning and I want to avoid the crowd on purpose, okay? Because the food in my house is drugged. And that also makes it easier for them to drug my drinks and different items at the store that they think I'm going to get. And when I leave, they just have to replace them. So they kind of watch me, anticipate where I'm going to go, and replace as needed. Also, why San Jose and society doesn't want to accept me as the top martial artist is the same reason that gang stalking has racial components, even though there's people from different races doing it. Just like psychiatry, just like the prison system. Would you make the argument, well, there's black judges, there's black court reporters, you know, cops and bailiffs, so cops aren't racist, the court system isn't racist? No, it's a silly argument to make. The presence of different races doesn't mean that an institution or a group, you know, is not racist. And it's the same with gang stalking, where you look at things from, you know, they're trying to make you do things in a way that is socially acceptable or socially normative. According to who? The rich Jews and whites who have come to some sort of an agreement, grudgingly so in many cases, about which sorts of behavior are acceptable and which sorts of behaviors need to be drugged. Now, keep in mind, being black by itself in a multicultural society or in a city like San Jose, which is only 1% black, is not socially normative, and for the most part, it's not socially acceptable. You know, there's some places where being black is extremely socially unacceptable. Okay? Some places in the South. But everywhere where there's a majority white population and Asians and other races, being black is not socially acceptable. You know, when we walk into a liquor store, they wonder, are we going to steal something? Are we going to rob them, right? When we walk down the street, they cross the street. For so many reasons, to a certain degree, remember, I'm saying this to a certain degree, being black is not socially normative or socially acceptable. So being black and in touch and perceptive, you are going to be more disgusted with things like psychiatry and other mechanisms of social control than other groups of people, because you yourself are frowned upon in society and not seen as completely socially normative, even if you bend over backwards to meet the expectations and cultural norms of the races in charge. We could explore this more in the comments. I don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be, but yes, you know, as long as we have equal facilities, stores, and opportunities, separation is superior to integration, because people date their own. Say in San Jose, right? If you're, you know, it's like 1/3 Asian, more or less, 1/3 white, more or less, 1/3 Hispanic, more or less, something like that, right? Okay, what are the odds of somebody who comes from a race that is only 1/3 of the city, okay, dating their own, if people are judged by their content of their character, like Martin Luther King said, and not the color of their skin, right? They have about a 30% chance if everything is fair. But obviously, there's a degree of separation. There's certain communities that are mostly white, mostly Hispanic, mostly, you know, Islander, whatever, right? Mostly Asian, okay? For different reasons, they're far more likely to have children, marry, and date their own races. So you all know that we are judged by the color of our skin and not the content of our character for the most part. And therefore, to pretend that that's not the case means people who are from a minority group in a city, you know, for that city, right, are going to be shunned by the majority of women from the opposite sex and the majority of people, potential friends, right, for the most part. And a lot of, you know, there's going to be racial discrimination at jobs. I mean, a lot of these problems we all admit exist. Very few people want to admit that they wouldn't exist to such a degree if we separated. You know, I actually like women from other races more than I like my race, women from my race. But the fact of the matter is, they don't like me. They judge people by what their friends who tend to be the same race will think, what their family who tend to be the same race will think. So even though I'm biracial, and there's a large amount of white women here, I haven't dated a single white woman from San Jose, because we are judged by the color of our skin, even regardless of our racial makeup. Stop pretending we're not. Realize we need to separate and be separate but equal.